And how we doing, everyone? Matthew here, call sign Victor Alpha 1 Mike Romeo Tango. And for today's video, it was a viewer request. I got a message from a local ham looking to see if I could show how to get a WiresX node set up and running. So I said, sure, why not? I'll make a video on that, go through the steps. So for this one, we're going to use my FT3D for just for reference. I do have a WiresX node set up using my 300, but the process of getting set up and finding the ID and is simply it's pretty similar for just getting registered and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go through that, and it shouldn't be too bad. I think we can get through it fairly quickly. I say that now, and it could take a little while. But yeah, here we are, already up on the Yaesu website, and just to show you what we're going to be working with here, I will be popping over to show the FT3D and how to find the certain things we need as we're going along here. So we'll get right into it. So, and I'll be putting links in the description below for just for ease of maneuverability of getting around. So hopefully, hopefully we can get through it. I did have WiresX software running on this computer, but just for the sake of video, I removed it, and we are going to do it straight from scratch. So you can follow along with me, and hopefully it works out for you as it did for me. Um, for this example, I'm going to be using the SCU19 cable as well for setting up the FT3D and PDN mode. So we're going to go through all that, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So first thing, obviously, you're going to need either a C4FM capable radio. Um, Obviously, I'm going to use my FT3D, or you can use like some of the other ones they have on their websites. You can use the like my other node I have set up. I'm using the 300. You could use your FTM 400, and I believe you could use the 100 as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can use the 100. I'm just trying to think back from reading the documents. Um, there are certain, depending on the firmware of your radio, you may have to do an update on it. And I've already went through doing the update of the FTM 300. I don't own a 400, not yet, so I can't help do an update on that one. But there are probably other videos on there you can go through, and it'll show you how to definitely find the type of firmware you need for that guy. And I've already went through it for the 300 here, so definitely go back in my other videos, and if you want to set up a node for this guy, the setup process is for getting the WiresX software on the computer. It's the same. It's just a matter of finding your radio ID and setting that up in the process. But so let's hop into it. So the first thing you want to do, obviously, have your radio, and it's like, okay, I want to set up a node. So for this example, for using the FT3D, like everyone, you gotta hop over to the WiresX website, and you're brought up here. Member login. So if you don't have a login ID, you have to click on member registration, and this guy will pop up. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in your email right here. You're going to click send, and then after clicking send, you are going to be received with a another email from Yaesu and WiresX Web Engineering, the new registration ID form. That's where you go into, they'll send you a link and you have to click on that link and go through the setup process. So what they're going to want to know is obviously your name, your address, the type of node you're running. There's one section there, I believe it says HRI 200 or slash like radio ID. So they're gonna want to know the radio ID, so it's on their system. So that's the big part. You have to know each radio has their own specific radio ID, and we're gonna pop over to the FT3D, and we're gonna go through the setup menus and find our ID. I've already have this set up and ready to go. This is more or less just kind of a tutorial for this part, but you're going to need that ID number for the for doing the registration, and they're going to want to know you've set up a password and stuff like that. So let's pop on over to the FT3D, and we'll show you how to find the radio ID number, just so you can go back into this and finish your updating. Okay, here we are. We got our trusty FT3D. Now we want to go into our menu and find our radio ID. So for this guy, we're going to press and hold display, and we want to go to GM. Press display on that guy, and radio ID check. There we go. The radio ID on this guy is Earl's. When I first seen this, I was like, "Really? Is that really the radio ID?" But yep, that is the radio ID for this radio. So let's hop back over to the computer and go through finish going through the setup process. Okay, now that we're back over at our computer, we found out our radio ID. So when you're doing your initial registration, where it says HRI 200 / radio ID, you want to put in that radio ID, and then you're going to want to make a password and all that good stuff. So after that, you accept. That gets sent off to Yaesu. It gets accepted. Then you can come back into your member login and log into that portion. So let's log in here. And there, now that we're logged in, we want to go to our node owners page. And from our node owners page, scroll down here a little bit, and we see downloaded software for node station connected with the HRI 200 / portable digital node station. So here is the PC software update information. It gives a little, just a little one-page information, but here's what we really want: the WiresX PC software. So what you're going to do is go ahead and download that and put that into a separate folder. I already did. I put it on a folder on my desktop. So after that, we're going to hop over. Now, even though you can take and set up the PC software, but without the completed registration from Yaesu, what's going to happen is you're going to wait about probably I'd say 2-3 days for them to get back to you. And when they get back to you, they're going to give you your node ID and your room ID for that particular radio. And then we're gonna put that in. But that's gonna be the first thing that's gonna pop up. So we'll get to that here in a second. But first, let's head over to our software. So I got mine on the desktop here, FT3D wires X. And I also have the drivers for my SU19 cable. So before you even connect the cable to the PC, run the driver. So we'll open up that. Same thing, you're going to want to unzip it, drag and drop folder where you have for your wires X setup. There you go. Run this guy first before plugging it in. I can't stress that enough, because if you plug it in, then it's going to try to set up the wrong drivers, and then it's a headache. Okay, so let's go to our wires X. Out of the way. Drag and drop our file over onto our computer. There we go. We're going to open that up. And you can see HRI 200, manual, comms, and you have your setup menu for your, if you're running either a 32-bit or 64. I believe this PC is 64. So we're going to go ahead and double click on that guy. Yes, I'm going to run the installer. Wires X software. This guy right here. I'm going to click on him. Preparing to install. Welcome to the Wires X setup wizard. This wizard will install the Wires X on your computer. Click next. We're going to accept the terms in the license agreement. Now you can have it to auto start as soon as you want. I'm running this on my laptop, so I don't want it to auto start. But on my other PC, I do have it auto start. So if for some reason the PC has to reboot, the software is going to pop up automatically. So we're not going to auto start, but that's entirely up to you. Click next. Click install to begin the installation. Click back to review your change or any of your installation settings. So go install. There, completed the Wires X setup wizard. Click the finish button to exit the setup wizard. There we go. We'll close that guy. We'll close him. Close here. And here we go. Wires X. Right here on the desktop. Now, we're going to this guy. And the PC should come. Software's come on. Now, here's the first thing we're going to have to do. So, I'm going to plug in my SU19 cable. You'll probably hear the little jingle of the computer. Okay, we're plugged in. Now, what you should do after you've installed the drivers, then you can plug it in and it'll go through the setup process. But right now it's showing nothing. If I go refresh, there. Prolific USB to serial COM port COM3. Perfect. Okay. So we'll click OK on that guy. Okay, wires ID activation. This is what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my FT3D in PDN mode. I'm going to plug it into the side of the data port. There. Now, after plugging it into the data port, it now sees that the serial number is Earl's, and we are going to need my DTMF ID. So for this radio, it is 58145, and the room ID is 68145. So ID entry. There you go, VA1MRT-node 2, call sign VA1MRT, VA1MRT-room 2. ID entry complete. And we'll click OK. But yeah, here we go. My call sign, user ID, my QTH, my call sign settings, general settings. I usually set up to unlimited. Taco timer, digital ID settings. I didn't really change any of this stuff here. List file, log files. But yeah, after you got this guy up, I'm gonna click OK. And here we go. It's up and running. Now, I see in the corner here, it was on offline, and then it switched to online. And we could see on this guy here, all the nodes that are registered in the system, and there's a lot of them. It's worldwide. Up on this side here, you can put in all your favorites, and then down here, you'll your rooms will populate up here. So that's pretty much it for setting up the WiresX software. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Just for the hell of it, let's try and connect to a room. If you know the room number, you can automatically put it in, or once this populates, it takes a little while, but you can add them to your favorites list and they'll pop up here. You just right click, add to favorites, and say cancel this guy, for instance, this guy, add bookmark list. See, he'll pop up here. So anytime I wanted to connect to this user, that's someone's personal node, I can just right click, connect. But just for the video sake, oh, here we go. We can see the room starting to populate. We're going to connect to, and popular one in my area is CQ Maritimes. So that's on 60207, I believe. Canceled call in PDN standby. Oh yes, my mistake. I have mine set in PDN mode, so it's going in direct. So I have to press the X button, and there we go. Came up, we're on air. Now I can go to connect to, and 60207. Call start. There we go. I am now connected to the CQ Maritimes room, and as you can see on the room here, there is my other node I have set up. As you can see, it's number 4. So I have 4 nodes. One for my rig in the shack, the other for my rig in my truck. If I want to do portable, I can set up a node that way. Or for the example we're running here, we're using the FT3D, and that's this guy here. We're in direct mode, so there's no RF being transmitted. So I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. If not, just let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I can help you out.